Hello everyone. In this video we will see about Doppler effect, ultrasonic sensor, sonar and radar. First, to understand about what is Doppler effect, just give a thought on this. So what do you observe when you throw a pebble into a body of water? Apart from the pebble sinking. Yes, you could see a pattern of waves or water flowing either in the circular or spherical means. Okay, so this Doppler effect explains why do we see such a perception. Similarly, in case of sound waves, it moves equally in all directions from a source. So it may be either circular or spherical pattern. If the source is moving, the origin of the successive circle moves. So for example, if you are traveling on the road, you could able to see the ambulance siren which passes nearby you. Okay, when it is reaching near you, you could hear the high pitch of sound, and when it is moving farther away from you, you will hear only less amount of sound, right? So what is Doppler effect? Doppler effect is the change in frequency of a wave for an observer moving relative to its source. So the observer observes an upward shift in the frequency when the wave source is approaching. Okay, as I said, like ambulance siren, and a downward shift in the frequency when the wave source is retreating. Okay, so this is applicable to all the waves, which includes sound waves, water waves, and light waves. So to understand the concept of the Doppler effect, we must understand the wavelength, frequency, and velocity. So wavelength is we know that it is a distance between two successive crests of a wave. Okay, and it is denoted by lambda. Okay, it is a speed by frequency. Especially the 2 points in a sound wave, we could able to see it is a wavelength. Okay, next is the frequency. So frequency is the number of waves passing a given point per unit time. So frequency will be measured at speed by lambda, that is your wavelength. And velocity is the speed of a waves in a given direction. Okay, so v is equal to, that is a displacement by time taken, right? Yes, so next we will see how this effect takes place in water waves and sound waves. So just for an example, imagine that you are swimming with your friend and he is constantly bobbing his head up and down, creating a stream of wave reaching you at the end of the pool. Okay, so you observe that at every 2-second interval, 3 wave reaches you. Okay, now we have to find the frequency of the wave. So we know that the frequency of the wave is the number of waves passing per unit time, right? So here number of waves is 3 by, and the time is 2. Okay, so we will be getting the frequency range as 1.5 Hertz. Next we will move on to sound waves. This is another illustration on sound waves. Okay, a siren on a police car emitting a uniform series of sound waves moving away from the source in all direction. Okay, so if both the observer and the source were stationary, you could see in the first picture, he would observe a frequency equal to that of force. Okay, so there will be no change in the frequency. But in the second picture, you could able to see that when it is moving farther and when it is moving nearer, you will obtain a different range of frequencies. Next, we will see the shift in wavelength. Okay, here the normal period is denoted by t, and the observer moves at the speed u. Okay, so speed is denoted by u and the time period is denoted by t. So the wavelength ahead of the source will be shorter. If it is moving farther, it will be shorter. Okay, so the lambda dash is denoted as lambda minus ut. Okay, speed into time, and the wavelength behind the source will be longer. Okay, as it is nearing you, the source is nearing you, it will be longer. So lambda dash is written as lambda plus ut, and this is the frequency shift. So the period is related to the wavelength. Okay, so time period can be written as lambda by v, and we know that lambda dash, which is equal to lambda minus u into t, right? So t can be written as lambda by v. So on simplifying this, we will get lambda into 1 minus u by v, and this can be converted into a frequency shift. Okay, so lambda is written as v by f, and we need to find the frequency shift f dash, right? So here the lambda can be rewritten as v by f dash, which is equal to v by f into 1 minus u by v, just substituting the values. So f dash will be written as f by 1 minus u by v. So this is the frequency shift. One application of Doppler effect found in nature occurs in bats hunting for prey. When chasing prey, its brain detects a change in pitch between the emitted whistle and the echo it receives. This tells the bat that the speed of the prey, and the bat adjusts its speed accordingly. First, in medical diagnosis, physicians apply the Doppler effect to measure the rate and direction of blood flow in a patient's body along with the ultrasound. An echocardiogram uses sound waves transmitted by ultrasound to produce images of the heart. Next, radar applications. It is used in radar to measure the speed of detected objects. For example, police officer uses radar guns to check for speeding vehicles. So how it works is the radar gun emits waves at a particular frequency, which when strikes the vehicles bounces back towards the gun. The radar gun then measures the frequency of the returning waves, then eventually it determines the speed. Next application in flow measurement, instruments like laser Doppler velocimeter. Okay, it is LDV, which is used to measure the velocities in a fluid flow. A light beam which is released by the LDV, which measures the shift in wavelengths. Next, in satellite communication, satellite employs the Doppler effect in its tracking technique for determining the distance between the satellite and the receiver. Also, the Doppler effect has found its use in several other areas, which includes astronomy, vibration measurement to sense gesture, velocity profile measurement, etc. Ultrasonic sensor. So this is for measuring the distance. How do humans sense the distance? They estimate the distance using eyes, but the measurement will not be accurate, right? So how do bats sense distance? Using sound. They emit sound waves and receive back the reflected waves. So the time which it takes back to receive the waves will give the estimate of the distance for the bats. The same way, ultrasonic sensors measures the distance. Ultrasonic sensor measures the distance using ultrasonic sound waves, and it has a transducer to send and receive the pulses, which gives the information about the distance. Obviously, it requires a transmitter and receiver. The sensor transmits signal and also determines how long it takes to return. So if the object is very close to the sensor, the signal comes back quickly. If the object is far away from the sensor, the signal takes longer time to come back. And if it's too far away, the signal takes so long, but the receiver cannot detect it. Okay? The time taken will be sent as a message to computer, and that information is used to compute how far away the object is. Next is the operation of ultrasonic sensor. Okay. The second picture represents the ultrasonic sensor, and the ultrasonic transmitter transmits an ultrasonic wave. When this wave travels in air and when it gets objected by a material, it gets reflected back towards the sensor. This reflected wave is observed by ultrasonic receiver module. Once the wave is written and after it gets reflected by any object, the echo pin goes high for a particular amount of time, and that time will be equal to the time taken for the wave to return back to sensor. The amount of time during which the echo pin stays high is measured by microcontroller or the microprocessor unit, and it gives the information about the time taken for the wave to return back to the sensor. Using this information, the distance is measured. Okay, so in the ultrasonic sensor, it has 4 modules. One is VCC, trigger, which is the input pin, and echo, it is the output pin, and ground. Okay, and it has two eyes shaped structure, which is the transmitter and receiver. So next is the working principle of ultrasonic sensor. It is the same as before. The ultrasonic sensor sends out sound from one side and receives sound reflected from an object to the other side. The sensor uses the time it takes for the sound to come back from the object in front to determine the distance of the object. So advantages of ultrasonic sensor: because of its small in size, it makes easy to integrate into the projects. It can easily integrate with any type of the controller. Its high frequency, sensitivity and power make it easy to detect objects. It have a greater accuracy than other methods at measuring thickness and depth of a parallel surface, and it is easy to use and not dangerous during the operation, and it is less expensive. So this ultrasonic sensor is used in various applications as proximity detection, liquid level sensing, obstacle detection, distance measurement, anti-collision system, for profiling, for the part presence detection, product counting and sorting, anti-intrusion system and medical imaging. Next we will move on to sonar. Sonar stands for sound navigation and ranging. Sonar is a device that uses ultrasonic waves to measure the distance, direction and speed of underwater objects. How the sonar works? So it consists of a transmitter and a detector which is installed in a boat or a ship. The transmitter produces and transmits ultrasonic waves. These waves travel through water and it will strike the object, which gets reflected back, and it is sensed by the detector. The detector converts the ultrasonic waves into electrical signals which are interpreted. The distance now is calculated by knowing the speed of the sound in water and the time taken to transmit and receive the ultrasound. So here the time interval b t and the speed of the sound is v. The total distance will be 2d, which is equal to v into t. Okay, so this equation is particularly known as echo ranging. Types of sonar. Major types are active and passive sonar. So in active sonar, this uses sound transmitter and receiver, and the modes of operation are monostatic mode, bistatic mode and multistatic mode. In monostatic mode is when the transmitter and receiver are at the same place. Bistatic modes is when the transmitter and receiver are separated by some distance. And in multistatic mode is when the mode transmitters or the receivers are used, it is spatially separated. Next is the passive sonar. It listens without transmitting. It has various techniques for identifying the source of a detected sound. It has large sonic database, but sonar operator classifies signals by use of the computer and use these databases to identify classes of ships and action. Its limitations: as it is mainly used in underwater, sea animals are affected badly. We must not harm the nature, right? So it has an adverse effects on marine animals and like dolphins and whales, which use the sound waves for their navigation. It leads whales to painful and often fatal decompression sickness. The sonar systems generate lot of noise. High intensity sonar sounds can create a small temporary shift in the hearing threshold of some fish. Moving on to the applications, it is used to find the actual depth of the sea. It is used to find lost ships and submarines. It is used in ocean surveillance systems, and they are used by Navy to detect the locations of enemy submarines. They are used for underwater security. Next, we will see about radar systems. Radar stands for radio detection and ranging. Here, detection refers to whether the target is present or not. The target can be stationary or movable. Ranging is the distance between radar and the target. Radar is an electromagnetic based detection system that works by radiating electromagnetic waves and then studying the echo or reflected waves back. Radars can be used for various applications on ground, on sea and in space. The applications of radars are controlling the air traffic, ship safety, sensing the remote places, and for military applications. This is the basic principle of radar system. Radar is used for detecting the objects and finding their location. So in this figure, it consists of a transmitter and a receiver. It uses same antenna for both transmitting and receiving the signals. The function of the transmitter is to transmit the radar signal in the direction of the target present. Target reflects this received signal in various directions. The signal which is reflected back towards the antenna gets received by the receiver. There are some terminologies used in radar. First one is the range. So as mentioned earlier, range is the distance between the radar and target. This is denoted by r. So we know that distance is equal to speed into time, and here it is represented as distance is r. 2r, which is equal to c into t. So r is ct by 2. The second one is the pulse repetition frequency. Radar signals should be transmitted at every clock pulse. The duration between the two clock pulses should be properly chosen in such a way that the echo signal corresponding to present clock pulse should be received before the next clock pulse. So as it is shown in the figure, radar transmits a periodic signal. It is having a series of narrow rectangular shaped pulses. So the time interval between the successive clock pulses is called the pulse repetition time, and the reciprocal will be known as pulse repetition frequency. Okay, so this is denoted by fp, which is equal to 1 by tp. We know that radar signal should be transmitted at every clock pulse. If we select a shorter duration between two clock pulses, then the echo signal corresponding to present clock pulse will be received after the next clock pulse. Due to this, range of the target seems to be smaller than the actual range. So we have to select the duration between the two clock pulses in such a way that the echo signal corresponding to present clock pulse will be received before the next clock pulse starts. Then we will get the true range of the target. This is called the maximum unambiguous range. So here R is written as RUN, unambiguous, and T is written as TP. Okay, so pulse repetition time. So substitute this in the first equation. We will get RUN, which is equal to CTP by 2. Okay, and we know that the pulse repetition frequency, which is equal to TP, which is equal to 1 by FP. And substitute this in the RUN equation, we will get RUN, which is equal to C by 2 FP. Next is the minimum range. The time required for the echo signal to receive at radar after the signal being transmitted from the radar as pulse width. It is also called as the shortest range of the target. Now substitute R is equal to R minimum and T is equal to tau in first equation. So we will get R minimum, which is equal to C tau by 2. General radar equation is R max, which is equal to PT G sigma AE whole to the power 1 by 4 divided by 4 pi square into S min. Here PT represents the peak power transmitted by radar, G is the gain of transmitting antenna, A is the effective aperture of the receiving antenna, sigma is the radar cross section of the target, and S minimum is the power of minimum detectable signal. There are two major types of radar. One is pulse radar and another one is continuous wave radar. The radar which operates with pulse signal is called pulse radar. So it has two types, basic pulse radar and moving target indication radar. So the radar which operates with pulse signal for detecting stationary targets is called the basic pulse radar. It uses single antenna for both transmitting and receiving signals with the help of a duplexer. Next is the moving target indication radar. The radar which operates with pulse signal for detecting non-stationary targets is called moving target indication radar. So this uses the principle of Doppler effect for distinguishing the non-stationary targets from stationary objects. Next is the continuous wave radar. The radar which operates with continuous signal or wave, which is called as the continuous wave radar. They use the Doppler effect for detecting non-stationary targets, and this is classified as unmodulated continuous wave radar and frequency modulated continuous wave radar. So the radar which operates with continuous signal for detecting non-stationary targets is called unmodulated continuous wave radar. If the continuous wave Doppler radar uses the frequency modulation, then that radar is called as the frequency modulated continuous wave radar. Radar is used in various application fields, including military applications, remote sensing, air traffic control, law enforcement and highway security systems, aircraft safety and navigation, ship safety, space, and some miscellaneous applications. Thank you.